Welcome to Winning Begins at Home. I'm Randy Gravett, and I'm excited that you're with me today. It's my anniversary. My wedding anniversary is today, and we're talking marriage this week. We've been talking marriage all week. I hope you've been a part of that conversation. If you missed any of those episodes, I hope you'll go back and get those. And let me say today, before I jump into the marriage stuff, I want to thank you for supporting the channel, for subscribing and all the downloads we've been having. We've had thousands of downloads the last few weeks. It's been cool to see, and I hope you'll continue to share with your friends and family. Hopefully this content is bringing some value to you. You're getting some ideas on some tips, tactics, things that you can do to really practice your way. We always say we practice our way to high performance. And so ultimately we want to win at work, but this is not about work here. This is about winning outside of work. And I said yesterday at the end, if you win at work and you lose at home, I think you still lose. Let's do what we can to make sure that we win where it matters most, and that's home. So today, anniversary day, I'm excited about it. We got a little trip planned. We're going to spend some time together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thankfully, we're trying to practice some of the stuff that I've been talking about this week. I'm especially practicing, as I said yesterday, I want to work on myself first. I think that's the most important thing for all of us, to lower those expectations. But one of the things I said last week, when I talked to dads, it was Father's Day last weekend, and that was fun. But the week leading up to that, I had some tips for dads, and one of the comments I made, I think, is relevant today. And it's, if you're going to have a great marriage, I want to encourage you to not make a big deal out of small things. I think it's true for dads, if you're going to be a great dad, but I think it's also true for husbands and wives. If you're going to be a great spouse, let's not make a big deal out of small things. It's kind of what I talked about yesterday. We want to make sure that we don't escalate these expectations for the other person. And we would have higher expectations for ourselves than we would for our spouse. But I think so many times, if I'm not careful, something seems maybe big in the moment. And really, if I pull back and I can get a, overhead view, if I can get on, if I'm in the drone and I can look down on our marriage and go, that's not going to matter at all. And I can tell you, after 38 years, so many things that felt like a big deal back in year 3 or year 9 or last week, they just really, I don't even remember what those are. And yet, if we're not careful, we can escalate again those conversations, and they can become fights. And I believe at this point, I've actually always believed this, but life's too short to fight with your best friend. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you are honoring your spouse. You're honoring your vows, really, that you made when you stood, somewhere, probably in a church or on a beach or wherever you got married. You made an agreement, and you want to honor that. And I'm guessing your vow had something like, we're going to honor each other and cherish each other and love each other. And, if it's sickness, it'll, we're going to stick together. If it's health, we'll stick together, and for better and worse and all that stuff. Well, the truth is, there are days there is sickness, and there are times where it is worse. And yet, are we really doing what we said we would do? And I think if we'll do that, it can be powerful. So as today is our anniversary, first of all, shout out to Laura. Happy anniversary. Thanks for staying with me all this time. I always tell her, I've told her for years, if you ever leave me, I'm actually going to go with you, because I'm really committed to her. And I just would say that today, as I end this week, I want to just reaffirm my commitment to what I've been talking about this week. I don't want to say this stuff and then not live like it's true, not do that. And I don't want you to either. If you're listening today, I want to challenge you to go back and to think through your marriage very carefully. We're kind of at the end of the first part of the halftime, I guess I would say. We're into June here coming up. We're going to focus on halftime a little bit next week. As an old coach, I always love making halftime adjustments. We're going to spend some time next week on that. But I want to challenge you this week to really make some marriage adjustments. Let's think about our marriages, and maybe you need to go back to what we talked about on Monday, your values. Do you have your values aligned, or is there misalignment? If you've ever driven in a car and there's not alignment, the thing starts shaking. Your relationship right now may be shaking. It may be, it's just, we're not on the same page. We don't have alignment. Maybe we need to have some of those values conversations. Or maybe you're what we talked about, I think it was on Wednesday when I said, let's make sure that we're that we're trying to help our spouse win. We're doing everything we can to help them win. And I think if we'll do that, obviously it's going to require sacrifice. It's going to require selflessness. But I think this is so important for us to do that. And I know for me, I'm gonna work on this. It's because I love me some me. If I'm not careful, I'm really, I can get selfish pretty quick, just like everybody else can. And so I want to do what I can to do that. And so I'm committed to that as I go into year 39 here. It's like, let's go for it. It's going to require work. I know that. There are going to be a lot of hard days in the next year. Going to be a lot of good days. There's no guarantees here, but here's what I know. When things aren't good, God's still good and marriage is still good. He's the one that thought it up. And so I want to make sure that I'm honoring that. And then today is, again, let's don't make a big deal out of small things. Let's lower those expectations. Let's really do what we can. And look, as I said, I think it was yesterday, I said, let's look in that makeup mirror. Let's really work hard to examine ourselves first, work on ourselves first. Let's get better. And as we do, if our spouse will commit to that, whether they do or not, we keep getting better. It's going to make it better for everybody around your life. And so I want to encourage you to continue to focus on that. I love you, Laura. Thank you for 38 great years. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to the next 38. It'll be even better. As I said a couple of days ago, some girl told me at an event, only the first 40 years, her grandpa told her, only the first 40 years of marriage are hard. So we're getting closer. If you're married, there's never a time where it's going to be easy. It's always going to be hard, but I believe it is the best relationship on earth and it's worth fighting for. And so I hope you're out there and your marriage is not really what you want it to be. You'll just take a step. You'll take a baby step toward better. And if you'll do that, I think you can get a year down the road and you can make tremendous progress. Remember, winning begins at home.